Hi, I'm Julie Faye-Fan-Balzer, your host. Scrapbooking can get very regimented with the right way to use a product or the correct way to lay out a page. But today, we're encouraging a more casual approach, one that fits your lifestyle and design aesthetics. So I'm going to do 2 pages using positive and negative. And you can see right here, I'm using the leaves and then here as a stencil. And again, the title is going to be your positive and your negative. So let's get started. I have a design that was in the machine. It comes in the software. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the acetate off the sticky mat, and I'm going to go ahead and put this piece of paper down. Now, it doesn't matter where I put it because the machine is actually going to see it. So I'm going to go ahead and load the mat, and I'm going to grab my stylus, and I'm going to do the scanning function. And the machine is basically going to look and see where that is so that I can arrange my pieces absolutely anywhere that I want. I love this idea because it allows you to use up scraps and tiny bits of paper and never have to worry whether you're getting the cut exactly where you want it, because it's going to be right every time. So I can see it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do something. I'm going to select all. I'm going to move them all down so that they're right on that piece of paper. And then with the remaining ones, I'm going to go ahead and one by one, I'm just going to add them right on there, exactly in where I wanted. And now if I have some extra ones left over, which you can see I do, I chose 16, I can just delete them right like that. No problem. And I'm ready to cut. So I say, okay, I want to cut. I make sure that my blade is at the depth that I want, which is a 4. I'm going to hit start, and that is going to go ahead and cut for me. So while that's cutting, I happen to have one here that's already done. And you can see, again, I have the positive and the negative. And we're going to use both. So the first thing is I'm going to take another scrap of paper, and I'm simply going to cut out what I am going to call a branch. It's really just a wonky half circle, something really easy like that. Then I'm going to go to my cardstock, and I'm going to go right ahead, and I'm going to place the 2 branches facing each other, and then I'm going to take each of my little leaves, and I'm simply going to adhere them onto my branch. Could not be easier. After that, I simply run my photos in a little strip. It's like a fake photo booth strip. I love photo booth photos. And then I have a title, which I've already cut out, again using the machine. This is just my handwriting, which I drew out and then cut with the machine. And I'm not going to throw away this garbage because I definitely want to use it. So I have it here. I would just fill in my journaling, and then my page is going to be done really, really quickly. It's unbelievable how fast that comes together. A couple rhinestones add a bit of dimension, a sparkle, and a finish. But now, why don't we grab what's in the machine really quickly? I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. And you can see all those little bits that we just used too as leaves. So now I have this great stencil, and I'm going to come right to my white cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and I just have, these are regular inks, and I'm just going to rub them on through here. And you can see that my ink pad is a little bit dirty. It had a little bit of green on there, and you know what? I like that. It's serendipity. And I'm just going to rub a couple different colors through here, mixing them up, not worrying too much about it, just playing around. And I'm scratching through here, and it's coming up really nice. And I like to move the stencil, but I don't like to exactly move it. So I might even overlap them here because I really appreciate the look of sort of randomness as opposed to perfectly planned and regimented, right? We are free spirits here. There are no scrapbooking rules. We're rebels, scrapbook rebels. So I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring this in. And of course, if you're a neat person, you could just use this actual stencil as a simple embellishment on the back. You don't actually have to use it with ink and stuff like that. I'm going to let this dry because these inks are a little bit wet, and when it is dry, it's going to look a little something like this. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm simply going to add my photo. And I have some paper feathers here, which I made, and there's a tutorial on my blog if you visit on how you can make them. You can also buy paper feathers. So I'm just going to take one, add it right here next to my photo. It adds a bit of whimsy. I'm going to stitch down or do anything else that I want there. But before I do that, if you want, and again, this is if you're a messy person, you can take some watercolor. and I'm just going to take a wet brush. Let me move my photo out of the way. Go right into the black, and I'm just going to tap a couple times, and you can see that I sprayed some dots over there. And I just think that adds a little bit of extra movement to things. And what about the title? Because I promised you that we were not going to use or throw away all that garbage. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper trimmer, and I am going to carefully cut around my title so that it's just a little bit less black cardstock, because I want more title, less cardstock. And once I have it the way that I like it, I can easily add it onto my layout. And let's cut that a little bit more. You know, even though I'm a non-perfectionist, sometimes I'm a perfectionist too. I'm going to go ahead and add that hello on there. I would add some more rhinestones, which again is matching, as you can see here on the finished layout. So the layouts kind of coordinate even though they're very different. But you know, using the positive and negative isn't the only way that you can create two layouts that make it easy for you to get a lot of bang out of your buck. Here I have two layouts that have the exact same design. They're just reversed. They're about very different topics, and here I've used some book pages which I've printed on. This is a great way to be messy neat. And if you're not a messy person who wants to make your own pages, just use pattern paper. Couldn't be easier. And another idea for you is, again, can you see that these layouts, even though they have very different color schemes, actually have the exact same design? It's a small photo, it's all built in a vertical column, and they're both monochromatic, right? This is all white with a tiny pop of color, and this is all of that sort of green and blue. Really easy. And finally, I just wanted to show you that if you're more of a free-form person, you can go ahead and just add ink to the background.